I'm Maria Drutska, and today we talk about why Putin is going to Mongolia and how international law is about to fail. I will tell you also about explosions at the German plant, as well as about the current situation on the front line in Ukraine. Well, the Kremlin announced that Vladimir Putin will visit Mongolia on September 3rd at the invitation of the president of the country to participate in a solemn event dedicated to the 85th anniversary of the joint victory of Soviet and Mongolian troops over the Japanese armed forces as a Battle of Khalkhin-Gol. This is the official version and pretext for Putin's visit. This will be Putin's first visit to a country that has ratified the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court since March 2023, when the court issued an arrest warrant for the president of Russia. Mongolia signed the Rome Statute in 2000 and ratified it in 2002. Formally, the ICC member states are obliged to execute the warrant and arrest Putin. The ICC issued a warrant in March 2023 for Putin's arrest on suspicion of illegal deportation of children and illegal transfer of Ukrainians to Russia. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov stated that there is no concern about Vladimir Putin's trip to Mongolia, which recognizes the jurisdiction of the ICC. No, there are no wars, Peskov said on Friday. On August 30, in response to journalists' questions about the Kremlin's concern regarding Putin's upcoming trip. According to Peskov, the Kremlin has excellent dialogue with our friends from Mongolia, he said. When asked if there had been negotiations with Mongolian authorities regarding the ICC warrant, Peskov responded, "Of course, all aspects of the visit were very well prepared." According to two sources from Bloomberg agency, Mongolia has assured Putin that he will not be arrested under the ICC warrant. Then the ICC itself spoke up. ICC spokesperson Dr. Fadi El Abdallah told the BBC that court member states have an obligation to cooperate in accordance with Chapter 9 of the Rome Statute. However, the agreement contains a clause that member states may be exempt from their obligations if their fulfillment would force them to breach a pre-existing treaty obligation with another state or violate the diplomatic immunity of representatives or property of a third country. The ICC spokesperson clarified that cases of refusal to cooperate by states that have signed the treaty will be thoroughly investigated, after which the Assembly of all member states may take any measures it deemed necessary, as he said, against the violators. By the way, there have been instances of non-compliance with arrest warrants. In 2015, then President of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir, left South Africa unhindered despite an active ICC warrant. Before I continue, I want to thank all of you who sent coffees on Buy Me a Coffee and become Patreons to this channel. Please do so if you want more of these videos on the channel, and you can also help this channel by subscribing to it and like this video, as it will be definitely help Ukrainian content to be seen by more people. I suggest you also subscribe to my Twitter page, where I post regular updates about the situation in Ukraine, post videos, photos, and to my Instagram, where I show the daily life in Ukraine. Mongolia certainly has a great opportunity to make a new world history. But on the other hand, what else do we know? Mongolia is a democratic country, but it is in the difficult position. It has only two large borders with China and Russia. Unluckily. Therefore, they need to force between two totalitarian states. If Mongolia does not arrest Putin, it will certainly make a precedent in the world. When a country under the Rome Statute does not arrest him and the visit takes place at the highest state level, it is natural that another country, which is also a signatory to the Rome Statute, might accept Putin and will not be obligated to arrest him. What does Putin gain from this trip, guys? What do you think? Well, first, Putin will have another great opportunity, not just sitting in Russia, but now on the international stage, to show how little he cares about international law. He wants to discredit and demean international institutions, considering the Hague beneath his concern. He simply wants to destroy international legal order and demonstrate that criminals, including war criminals like himself, as well as dictators as himself and usurpers as himself, will not be punished, and everything is permitted to them, and international law and rules are not the main drivers in the world, but rather power and its use, asserting that might makes right. It's not the first time, honestly, that Putin has so blatantly and brazenly shown that he devaluates international law. Remember what happened after 2014, after the annexation of Crimea and parts of Donbass. What happened? Oh, nothing. How Putin is further now he's further confirming that ICC arrest warrant is worthless. And why else is Putin traveling to Mongolia? Well, Mongolia could become a mediator country to facilitate trade between Russia and China amid the threat of US sanctions against Chinese firms dealing with Russia. Beijing is under increased pressure to reduce support that helps Moscow continue the war in Ukraine, which began in February 2022. However, Mongolia did not include funding for the gas pipeline construction project in the new 5-year economic plan of the country, raising doubts about Beijing's commitment to the project, as reported by South China Morning Post. Former Kremlin political advisor Stanislav Belkovsky, who currently holds a oppositional view to the Kremlin, noted that China provides security guarantees to Putin. The Mongolian government will not act against this state. Mongolia will not go against China, even if it does not want to fight with US, he remarked. On Friday, August 30, a powerful explosion occurred at the territory of a plant producing explosives, a subsidiary of DL Defense in Troisdorf, Germany. As a result of the explosion, 2 workers sustained seriously injured, reported the publication Bild. It is noted that the accident at the production facility occurred around 9:30 in the morning. As reported by the head of Troisdorf Fire Brigade, when emergency services arrived at the explosion site, the injured had already managed to leave the building independently. The injured workers, aged 26 and 61, received assistance on site from the rescue service and emergency doctor. They were then transported by helicopter to the nearest hospitals. Interesting. Estonian Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur believes that Russia is quite likely involved in the explosions at military production facilities in Germany. He stated this during a discussion at GlobeSec conference in Prague. According to him, Russia's hybrid attacks on NATO member states started long before the alliance began discussing hybrid warfare methods. In particular, Estonia has been facing such attacks since 2007. At first, it was just cyber attacks, then physical attacks, then explosions. We have clear evidence that these are attacks organized by the Russian government, and Russia is obviously testing us how far it can go before triggering Article 5 of NATO, Pevkur explained. He added that he would not be surprised if Russia turns out to be involved in the attack on military production in Germany as well. He said Germany will now be thoroughly investigating the attacks on military production that occurred yesterday, and I would not be surprised if it eventually turns out to be orchestrated by the FSB, because that's exactly what they do. They attack our defense industry, the minister summarized. The National Guard of Ukraine has redeployed one of its few offensive brigades, Kara Dak, a 15 separate mechanized brigade with approximately 2,000 troops from the south to Pokrovsk in Donetsk region, reports Forbes on Friday, August 30. The brigade was moved from positions north of Melitopol in the Zaporizhzhia region. This relocation from its usual placement to an unfamiliar battlefield in the east underscores the significance of the challenges Ukraine faces in the Pokrovsk area, says publications. As a part of the offensive to capture the city of Pokrovsk in Donetsk region, Russian forces are conducting two key tactical operations, according to a new report by the Institute of the Study of War. According to analysts, the first operation is being implemented by Russian forces along the Novohrodivka line east of Pokrovsk to capture Mirnograd and advance to the outskirts of the city. The second tactical operation is conducted along the Selidove-Ukrainsky Hirnik line southeast of Pokrovsk and is aimed at expanding the Russian grouping on the Pokrovsk direction and eliminating vulnerable spots of Ukrainian counterattacks. The ISW believes that the Russian military command likely views both of these tactical operations as desired prerequisites for the initiation of intense offensive actions to capture Pokrovsk. Well, that's it for today, and I want to thank all of you for supporting Ukraine, watching Ukrainian content. Please like this video, and if you really liked it and you want more videos on the channel, you can support the channel's development on Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. See you soon, and Slava Ukraini!